him, where are the kids, Chad, and doesn't Tylee want a life, a job, a car, a boyfriend? And he said she didn't like people and she didn't like me.
And what struck you about those statements?
Because he said didn't.
He used the past tense?
He used the past tense.
More chilling testimony from a family friend of Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow's husband. The Doomsday Mom is on trial for the murder of her two children, 7-year-old JJ and 16-year-old Tylee. Chad on trial as well, but separately. That was Alice Gilbert. She told the jury this week that she met Lori Vallow a week after Chad's wife Tammy passed away, and he told her that he had met the woman that he was going to marry. And that, at first, she believed that Lori was an empty nester, that is, until she learned that Lori's two children were still missing. I want to bring in trial attorney and legal analyst Misty Marris here. Misty, you know, as I watch this and listen to this trial unfold, there's a lot of testimony involving Chad Daybell and what he said and did before the kids were killed and after. I'm curious, has the prosecution done anything yet to convince this jury of Lori's guilt in the case?
A great point, and we've been talking about this. How is this going to be linked back to Lori? We know that's what the defense raised in their opening argument. We know that's where they're going. They're going to say, you've heard a lot of bad things about Chad Daybell. You've heard a lot of bad things about Lori Vallow's brother. But what role did Lori play? The prosecution can't answer that. But Marni, the testimony of this witness, this was the missing link. This is what the prosecution got on the record during this testimony, that in the presence of Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell said, Lori just lost a daughter. Lori lost a daughter in her presence. And so to me, that is the missing link, that Lori Vallow acknowledged that her daughter was no longer with us in that conversation. And that very witness, the witness that we just heard from, was confronted Chad Daybell about this after the news of Lori's missing children became public, and he backtracked. Then he uses past tense. But that's the link. In Lori's presence, she acknowledged the loss of her daughter. To me, that's all the jury needed to make that connection. We also heard testimony that Lori Vallow's hair was found on duct tape on JJ's body. So these are the links. I think the prosecution's done a brilliant job. They laid the foundation. They explained the doomsday cult beliefs. They explained Lori and Chad's relationship. And now we are seeing the evidence that directly links Lori to the death.
So the defense likely expecting all of this. How do you expect that they'll play it once they get their turn?
I think what the defense is going to do, first of all, as far as the hair is concerned, they're going to have an expert witness come on the stand and say, well, how do you know how the hair got there? Couldn't it have been on Chad Daybell's clothes? There's nothing dispositive about that. As far as the comments, they're going to say, well, Chad made those comments. Lori didn't say anything. She was passive. She wasn't the one that made those comments. Look, I don't think that the defense is going to put Lori Vallow on the stand. I think it would be a big mistake. There's too many lies, too many things that she told people about the location of her children, where they were, that ended up being false. Too much suspicion surrounding their quick marriage after Tammy Daybell's death. So I don't think they're going to put her on the stand, but they're going to have to rely on saying that the prosecution did not meet their burden. And that's going to be it. But quite frankly, I think the case is really coming together, and it'll be a game time decision. The defense might say, hey, look, we need something. We need her to explain this away. Quite frankly, I think they're just going to have to say, beyond a reasonable doubt, prosecution didn't get there.
Just 30 seconds left, Misty. Remind us about the decision to try Lori and Chad separately in this case.
Yes, so they're being tried separately. There's, of course, a conflict of interest when you have these co-conspirators. It usually, you see them pointing the finger at each other. And while Lori is not testifying against Chad, to our knowledge, because there would be a prosecution agreement, they're definitely pointing the finger at Chad, saying nothing is connected to Lori. You're hearing about all of these things Chad did, but Lori, the prosecution cannot explain it. So that's a strategic choice. Probably best that these cases were not tried together. And who knows what Chad Daybell, what his defense is going to be. He got the benefit of watching this trial, right? And then crafting his defense around that.
Yeah, we'll be watching that one as well. As always, Misty Marris, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.